I see how many people come out with their stories related to sexual assault or harassment or any of these things related to these very alienating sexual encounters, let's say. And I think I'm gonna tell my story today. My name's Jeremiah Beckett, good friends with Marc Davis. He said maybe this will be a good palate cleanser after last week, where we're very anti-Semitic here, and the week before that, where a middle-aged black man lectured people about a life that he didn't obtain. This will be good talking about my statutory rape victim. Me being a victim of statutory rape. I think that'd be a good palate cleanser. So y'all just want to sit back, kick back, maybe you want to put some on the TV in the background or whatever, and just listen to me, because this story comes from the heart. I'll forever be traumatized. It's scarring me for the rest of my life. I'll be thinking about this on my deathbed. So I just want to come out here and just talk about it, because people love hearing these sorts of stories, especially from people without any fame or fortune. So here I go. When I was 15 and a half, I was 6'9", 270 pounds with a 7% body fat percentage. I was a golfer, and that was pretty much it. Sometimes I play basketball on the side, but I wasn't on the team. But I was on the golf team. But anyways, I caught a lot of people's attention because I kind of stood out, just a little bit. I stood out, and the day to day, you get people gawking at you while you're trying to go to school, or you're just going from class to class, and the attention didn't bother me. I didn't like it particularly, but I dealt with it. But one day, I'm more of a student athlete at this point. I'm in high school. I'm on a full ride scholarship in high school for golf, and one day after class, I had to stay back for tutoring because I failed a test. It was like some vocabulary test, and I didn't know the words. And I shouldn't be expected to know words. If I could talk to you and you understand what I'm saying, why do I need more words than I have? I have enough words. If we could talk, what for food? I know all the food words. Can I get a number 1, a number 2, a number 3, a so on, or what have you? What else do you need? Water. I know all the water words. Can I get a cup of water? Can I get a Kool-Aid? And you don't even have to talk. If you go into Walmart, you can just pick it up. I don't understand why I need vocabulary words. It's not even going to the military or anything. I'm not an idiot. I'm too smart and talented to do stuff like that. So the more smart and talented you are, the less words you actually need to know, because you could just kind of do what you want. Think of how smart and intelligent a person like Bill Cosby is. He loved having sex so much, but he was also very smart about it, that he didn't have to say anything to have sex with those women. And now, decades later, these women feel like he was so good at getting consent and having sex with them that they feel sort of raped. I think the way the media has framed it is oh, he's a rapist that drugged these women. No, he is the peak, the peak romancer, if you will. Because you could make a woman do something that she didn't want to do, and you do it so well that they don't even realize that they didn't want it until decades later. I think that's the essence of romance. And in America, we don't have a romantic society. We don't have a sexy society. In every commercial, they got to have, some woman in a bikini with not even that big of cans. Or it's a jean commercial with people with their ass and giant on the screen. So people complain about sexiness on TV and in media, but really we don't have a sexy society. We have I don't even know what you call it, a sensationalist society when it comes to sex. And it's all very technical. It's big ass on TV, big tits on the TV, a hot smiling woman on TV, a kid on a TV, Disney Channel on TV, this type of thing. But it's not sexy, like pornography as well. Pornography isn't really sexy, but it's very sexual because they're having sex and they're doing sexual acts. But it's all very technical, and I don't even know how anyone could really enjoy it. But anyways, what I was talking about though is that Bill Cosby is an actual romantic with his European and African ways of romance, and these women just can't understand it. They think they get raped, and I understand that. The first time, like in college, where I had to do like a real college project, it had to be like a similar feeling to what those women feel, because I felt raped because I wasn't ready for that type of thing. I wasn't ready to write a paper, because up to this point, I never wrote a paper. I never done homework. When I was 15, 16, 17, I never done any of that. I went to athletic academies, So when I finally go to college and they're giving me, say, write a 2-page paper on why Napoleon rocked, I'm like, the fuck? I felt raped, because why are you making me do stuff that I don't want to do? But what you realize is, even if you don't want to do it, it's good for you. It's like eating vegetables, So that's always been my take on Cosby to Weinstein, all that sort of thing. Because if you come back on the other side stronger, who are you to complain, Anyways, so when I was right around the time to this, let me talk again about this vocabulary test tutoring. So I stayed back in tutoring, and the teacher, we called her Miss Cans, but I think her real name was like, I don't even remember. We called her Miss Cans from day one, because she was a redheaded, freckle-faced, 5'9" woman with big cans. So, a lot of guys that had a crush on her, I guess. I don't really feel either way, because I didn't really hit puberty until like between the ages of like 19 and 23. So even though I had a bodies of a man, I still had, the mind of a boy. But the only pubescent thing I got were erections, right? So that's the only thing I got. Didn't have a single pube, a single facial hair, none of that stuff. No extra testosterone. I got to 277% body fat with my kid testosterone. So imagine how much of a beast I've become with the pubescent testosterone. Little boost, little patch, little update. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, me and Miss Can, she's trying to tell me some words I don't even know, like ad lib, like innervate, like dissonance, these types of words, and I'm listening, I'm trying to get what these words mean so I don't fail a test, because I'm really stressing out. It's the first test that I failed and they actually gave me an F. Like, I failed plenty of tests in high school, but they usually say, I guess we're gonna do a curve. We're gonna do a 60-point curve, and everyone's gonna get an A, because if I'm failing, it's like the whole school is sort of catered around me. I was like a LeBron type figure around where I was in Natchitoches academic athletic academy. So I was like the golden goose, if you will. So they made sure I did not fail. But this teacher, she did something different this time. She actually gonna give me an F if I didn't stay in the full 90-minute vocabulary test tutoring. And the vocabulary test was only 10 words. So I don't know why she needed an hour and a half to teach me. But nevertheless, I sat in there, and she's telling me a lot of different things. Like every couple of like minutes, go over a couple words. And she's like, "Oh, you have like, how'd you get such a broad back? Like, geez, your hands could like crush average woman's hands." Like these sorts of things. Talking about how powerful I am. Pretending to knock into me just so she could feel my thighs or something. It's very weird and awkward because I know what she was doing. And I was sitting in a desk. You know how you sit in a desk with the desk is attached to the chair, that sort of desk. And she's on the other side, like bending over and like resting her arms on the desk, talking to me like that. And you could just see everything in her shirt. And I'm like, oh, jeez, jeez, what's happening? I'm feeling things I haven't felt before as a 15 and a half year old. And then she starts whispering to me and all this. And it's all, at this point, things start to become a blur. I don't know why. It seemed like this is where the story was just about to get interesting for me, I guess. But I do remember something like, I'll let me put on the school shooting blinds. And the school shooting blinds are like the blinds that are on the door to make it, like during a school shooting, it makes it look like no one's in the classroom. Which, in my experience at the Natchitoches Academic Academy for Athletic Excellence, there were like 4 or 5 school shootings, and let's just say those blinds never fucking worked. I think those blinds only work to fuck children without anyone noticing. But yeah, it's very odd that Natchitoches, that school that I went to, it didn't really have that many people in it, but it restocked itself pretty well. Because it don't, like the city, the town only has like 20,000 people who live there. And, because of the shooting, we went through a lot of children, But anyway, she starts talking. She says, I'm going to put the blinds down. I'm seeing her walk away. And as she's walking away, she must have did that thing where like she pulled her panties down a little bit, like while she was talking to me, and I didn't notice. So as she's walking, panties dropping. She planned this. She tried to manipulate me emotionally, but I don't think it was really working. So she's going, and you could see like more of the outline of her huge, like nice, she seemed like she was very fit by her butt cheeks. I could tell. You don't always tell how athletic somebody is by looking at their butt. That's just a tip, and all that. And you could tell if somebody, like if they look like they're like they don't weigh that much, it will deceive you. If you look at somebody's butt and you look around that area, you could tell if someone's going to be heavy. Just saying. Because people have always been surprised when they try to pick me up, because I don't look that big. I'm only 6'9", 270, but if you looked at my butt, you would know I have a horse's ass, not unlike Larry Fitzgerald, right? Stuff like that. Anyways, so she closes the blinds, and then what she does next is very odd. So she tells me, to get at her desk, and she has that big like office chair thing, like something that would be in Gord Gecko's office, So I'm in. She told me to go sit in the office chair, but yeah, you gotta take off your pants. You gotta take off your shoes and pants, because we're gonna have to do like you seem like you have a cough, a really bad cough. And I may have not mentioned this before, but I didn't have a cough. I was never sick. I've never been sick one day in my life. But she said, you're looking sickly. You look like I got a cough. I'm going to have to take your pants off. This made sense to me because every athletic, like doctor, like trainer type person, they like once a week they would ask me, take off your pants, let me see them balls, at like a part of a checkup thing, and then they'll check whatever was hurting that week, you know. So it seemed normal, I guess. Now I think about, I don't know why all those athletic trainers and, you know, team doctors did that. That's odd. But anyways, Miss Cans, I take off my pants and my shoes. I keep the socks on though, cause I'm classy. I'm not some fucking barbarian. So she's checking me out, and she's sitting on my lap now. And I'm like, I don't get what's happening, but I don't even talk really at this point. I'm just silent because I don't know what's happening. I thought I was just here to learn the definition of ditto, and I'm here and I have Miss Cans with her warm, nearly exposed vagina on my legs, and it's very odd. So then she starts kissing on my neck and stuff, and she's like, you know, rubbing me and things. It's very, I don't know. I don't even know if I should go on. But then she starts kissing my neck, then my chest, then my glistening abs, and her heaving bosom is rubbing against my thigh. Then she goes down and she tries to take my Calvin Klein underwear off, which are very tight. I always get my underwear like 3 sizes down, so like they fit the way like Superman underwear must fit, or like a superhero in general underwear must fit. Like they're never coming off unless I want them to come off, right? So, but when Mrs. Cans wants something, she gets it. You know, so what she did was she'd have to start pulling them off, and at this point I'm frozen, right? I don't know what's happening. So I'm just sitting there like, what's going on? I can't talk. She gets the scissors, cuts my Calvin Kleins off, like she puts it right next to the hip and just cuts down, takes them off, like sort of rips it after that. After she cuts them, she like rips it off like a diaper, like a baby's diaper would, and let's just say she starts cleaning me with her mouth. So this, to remind you, this woman in her late 20s, that's 5'9", beautiful, with huge cans, is now sucking me off as a 15-and-a-half-year-old. I don't know how traumatic, I can't put into words how traumatic this was for me, because it's not that I didn't want it, but I sure should have given affirmative consent. I'll tell you one thing. And it just feels like one situation when no one has your back and you don't know where to run, and you're just sitting there getting sucked off, and all of a sudden all that puberty that you thought your body was saving up for later is happening all at once in Mrs. Can's mouth. Because not only did I get hard, I busted multiple times in Mrs. Can's mouth. I'm not proud to say that, but it's not odd for these sorts of situations to happen, I guess. In these situations to have like a panic bust. And I panic busted, I guess, like 3 or 4 times in different various ways, you know, in her mouth a couple times. And then she took the rest of my clothes off. She took her rest of her clothes off, and she threw me on the ground and started riding my penis. I don't want to get graphic here. I don't want to get graphic. Please. This is a tough story for me, but I have to tell it, and I have to have people listen and get a channel membership and give me money. You know, I have to have this story out there. So, yeah, she's riding my penis, and I'm not gonna say it felt bad. I'm not gonna say it felt bad, because that would be far from the truth. But it didn't feel right, you know. So she continues to do her thing. She's going crazy. She's loving it, and I love making people happy. So I had also a little bit of a smile on my face, because, like, yes, I live for the cheers, the smiles, the adulation, and she's adulating all over my penis right now. So she's doing her thing. She busts. And after that, she's laying next to me, curling up next to me, and I still couldn't speak. And Mrs. Cairns was like, I don't care who you tell, because I just gave you the ride of your fucking life. And I'm like, what's going on? In my head, I'm still don't know what's going on. I'm just naked on the cold classroom floor. And I have maybe the hottest teacher this side of Louisiana naked right next to me. And all I could say for the rest of my time in there, because we sat there for like the next 30 minutes, the only thing I said in 30 minutes after she finished having sex with my body is it possible we could do this again sometime? And she said, of course. Little did she know, or maybe she did know and she just forgot. Well, actually, I'll wait a second. So after, half an hour, it's like, oh, I gotta go to golf practice. So I put my clothes on. And she puts her clothes on because she just gotta go home to her husband. She kisses me on the cheek, and we go our separate ways. So I go to golf practice. I had a great golf practice. A lot of holes in ones, a lot of nearly going into the lake, but it curving back and going straight into the hole sort of things. They have a very oddly shaped course where like the pond is on a hill, so for you to get the ball in the pond, you have to really fuck up. But if it doesn't get in, but it gets really close, it's not gonna roll in. It's gonna roll down, and it's gonna go back into like the regular playing field. It's a very unique, because most courses, it's like it's begging you to, like, the ball is gonna probably roll into a bog if it gets close. It's gonna roll into the pond if it gets close. It's going to it's gonna stay in the sand. But we have this weird sand that's called like moon sand or something. And this ball has like some inside of it, like some sort of magnet. All it does is clump up on the ball, so that makes it tough in a different way. So it's not gonna get stuck so much necessarily in the sand. That's not the problem. It's that the ball is gonna be bigger now. So how are you gonna get that sand to clump off? Because you can't touch it. So you gotta hit that sandy ball, that clumped up sandy ball, into the hole. And but I persisted, and I did a great job at that practice. Coach Fogel was very proud of me, and so after practice, it was just normal stuff happening. I had to get another whatchamacallit. I had to look at the team doctor though, because it's my weekly checkup. They want to make sure I'm in peak condition, because I'm a 6'9", 270-pound athlete. My body takes on a lot of stress playing golf. So team doctor looks at me, and he's like, okay, drop them. And he looks at my penis and balls, and he says, he's a very Catholic man, so he's used to measuring the balls of underage males, because he wants to make sure that they're not having sex before marriage. So he's a good guy, I guess. But he looked at my balls and said, Did you bust today? Did you bust multiple times today? He said it sort of like that. It's not. He didn't say that exactly. And I was like, yeah, I guess I bust like 4 times. It was the first time I ever busted. And you said, you've been jacking off or something? Wait, what's this about? You gotta tell me. You know this is sinning, right? Well, and I was scared to be sinning. Like, I'm not a religious guy or anything, but I'm scared to sin though. Like, I don't believe in God or anything, but I'm scared of sin. Like, I don't go to church ever, but I'm scared of sinning, So I just told him, like, no, I had like a little bit of a sexual relations with someone. And he was like, who? And I was like, I don't know if I really should tell you. Like, that seemed like my business. Then like he grabs my balls and he holds them in his hand. He says, who? You fucking tell me who, or I'll kick you off this fucking team and crush your balls. And I'm like, not, and in this moment, I might be over a foot taller than him and over 100 pounds heavier than him. But when someone grabs your balls, you feel like the tiniest person in the world. So I sort of fessed up that I guess I had sex with Mrs. Cans, and then team doctor was like, "Oh, okay, well that's fine. We make a extremely hot girl exception when it comes to the Catholic Church. You can have sex with them. It's fine. Extremely hot boys and extremely hot older women, it's perfectly fine. Everything else in between is bullshit, and you will go to hell for that. But Mrs. Cans, she's on the list. She's the exception." So I'm like, okay. Well, can you make sure you're not telling anyone else? He's like, of course, I won't tell anyone. You go, hey, come on, what the fuck? We're cool here. Come on, you let me see your balls every week. We're pretty fucking cool. I'm not gonna tell anything to anyone. And I was like, okay, this team doctor's, I can really trust him. I was getting a little suspicious after a while, but I trust him. So I go home, take a shower, eat a Hungry Man, because what you may not know that some TV dinners, like a Hungry Man, have the perfect macronutrients for a post-workout meal and for maximum recovery. You could do research into this. I have my own scientists on the job, but it seems that Hungry Man has been the best for my body in maintaining strength and endurance over long golf seasons. But I go to sleep around 9 o'clock, 9:30. Wake up the next day, and it's just my normal day. Put my clothes on. I probably have like an apple, oatmeal, and like 5 Tyson chicken tenders, because that has enough protein and fat in it to get my early maintenance in. Like, it gives me enough energy for the day between all those things to last the whole day. Oatmeal is great. The chicken tenders are vital for protein, and the apple's just there for. I mean, that's basically dessert. Come on, an apple's a little decadent, but I work so hard during the day that it's not gonna be bad for me. So after that, I'm going to school. I'm on the public bus. I make it to school. And I realized that, I had Mrs. Cans for first period that day. I realized she's not there. And apparently people have been talking. And there's a note on Mrs. Cans' desk. And it says something like, "I'm sorry to inform you, class, but I will no longer be here at Natchitoches Academy for Athletic Academics, because I've been caught white-handed," wink wink, the little emoji wink, "with sexual acts with an underage student. That is not only violating school policy, but it's also violating law. So I will be put in prison. Maybe if this case goes to trial and whatnot. For now, I'm in jail, and I'll probably won't ever see any of you again, because afterwards I will be transferred to a different state. I loved all of you, but especially Jeremiah. And she said some other stuff. This is all from memory, something like that. But she apparently got caught because there were security cameras within the classroom. And what the hypocrisy really is because I caught this kind of different conversation happen in the middle of the day between some of the other teachers and the principal, is that they were watching the security cam footage of her having sex with me, with my body. And they were like, "Oh, I gotta keep a copy of that. Hey, can you email me that video?" It's like, I'm gonna be watching that for the rest of my life. It's like, what the fuck? So since Mrs. Cans is my first sexual experience, she was the first woman that raped me, I guess. I do feel a little bit of that, fuck her mentality. How dare she suck me off, and do all the things she did to me. and make me feel like I'm just a piece of meat here. Make me feel like I'm just like I'm an other. She like her sucking me off and riding me and making me bust all those times. It's almost as if she said the N-word to me multiple times to my face. It felt like I was her slave. But she was nice to me before that. And I never liked any of these male staff members. So I did a little thing. Instead of making a deal with them, I got them, I ratted them out for trafficking child pornography because technically I was 15 and a half. And yeah, they all got arrested, and they're going to be in prison for a long time for trafficking child pornography and apparently even it went deeper than that, because they're also keeping the security cameras in the girls' locker room for personal use as well, if you catch my drift. So I'm sort of a hero, but all heroes have weak moments and weaknesses. And my weakness is that I got statutory raped by an extremely hot 28-year-old teacher. So that's just my story. You might be like, oh, this is sort of like, isn't this podcast titled Uncle Randy Gave Me IBS? Yes, you're correct. It was titled that. It is titled that. But it wouldn't be... It was clickbait, honestly. And that refers to a different... Like, that's one of the other statutory rape stories that I have in my life. And I don't really have to explain that, because, like, that's the first one. You know? Like, that's not the first one I have in my life, but that's the story. Uncle Randy gave me IBS. That's it. I don't have to do I have to tell you any more details about that. I don't know, but yeah, I'm thankful for Marc Anthony Davis giving me like a time to shine and tell my story, because it just feels like the plight of the statutory rape victims that have teachers have sex with their bodies. It goes unsung, really. So thank you all so much for listening and watching. I wish you a peaceful day, and and a pleasureful one as well. And I hope whatever problems you have, you're coping with them. You're taking your oxys, you're hitting your line, you're getting cutted out. Hopefully I can come back and tell some more of my stories. But this has been Jeremiah Beckett, and I'll talk to you sometime in the future.